Hi guys, this is Sarah, the Real Simple Mama, aka Frustrated in San Antonio, and I wanted to give you an update on what we're choosing to do as far as the problem with our birds. Now I posted a video, I guess about 2 weeks ago, just talking about our current dilemma with these feathered brats you see here, Exhibit A. And if you haven't been a follower for a while, then you can be filled in really briefly with here's what's going on. We live in a neighborhood. Our chickens have free range of the backyard for 10-12 hours a day, but I'm getting really frustrated with them for a few reasons. The main reasons being that they, poop all day every day, and they can be destructive. And I've been teaching my kids a lesson about instinct and how, the chickens aren't trying to be destructive. They're not trying to be deceptive or unnecessarily breaking stuff or whatever, but just like my kid just said, if you heard him, that's just what they do, right? That's just what they do. And we really want to do some more gardening. We've been doing a lot of home improvement, and we want to put some money into landscaping and stuff. But I mean, look at this situation. Like, this is literally what I've had to do. We've got a lid, we've got tomato cages, more tomato cages. I'm using badminton rackets, I'm using a rake, I'm using my kid's soccer goal and a pool net to keep my birds out of these pots. And I can see they got in again because my iris bulbs and everything have been knocked over again. Hey, baby. So I've had it, and here's what we've decided to do. We, this weekend, are going to build our chickens their own run. Their own place, that's right. And they're going to live in it forever and ever, amen. Ha! Until maybe this winter, or I feel merciful and like letting them out. So I will do an article on Real Simple Mama. It's not up yet, but I will measure out and price out everything that we bought so that you can have a step-by-step guide. Not right now, my love. Essentially what we're going to do is we're leaving our coop where it is, the predator proofing that we've done, and you can see all that in our Innovation Pet Coop review and the hacks. It can be moved. It's not that heavy. 2 people could do it. It's just kind of more of a pain in the ass than it's worth. So what we've decided to do is we're going to move the storage unit out of the way, and we're going to have from that corner straight back, that's about 15 feet. So we'll have the edge of the new run connect here and go straight that way, and then we're going to attach it to that fence. You brat. See, and this is why the storage unit can't be in there, because my little brats will then fly over the fence. We are trying to keep this door and this door outside of their run, so I could check stuff in here, or I could check stuff in here without having to go in their zone. And then what we'll do is we're going to have another post attached here, right here, so that it's under this, and we're going to zip tie and carabiner all of that stuff and have it go straight that away. So the chickens, it's like we're getting divorced. So the chickens get to have the pecan tree, and they get to have their tire, and it'll go straight over that way. That's 35 feet. So their space is going to be 35 by 14. If you are thinking about building a run in your backyard for your chickens, remember, they're only normally indoors. This is technically the coop space, right? This technically is not a coop. That's called the run. And the run is basically like their yard. They need, at minimum 8 or 10 inches to roost at night, but otherwise they only go in there to sleep at night or to lay eggs. That's it. So for the rest of their space, you need at least minimum 10 square feet per bird. So I need 30 square feet total, because I've got 3 brats. Like, look at this. Oh my gosh. Guys. These birds are making me crazy. So we found, we're in South Texas, so I'm not sure how much prices would change depending on where you are geographically. But our Lowe's has a 50-foot roll of, I don't know if it's called chicken wire, but it's a type of wiring I'll show you here in a minute. And it's $50 for 50 feet. And so we have 14 over there, 34 this way, bam, we need that one roll, that's all we need. We're going to use 2x4s, and we're going to build the posts, and then we'll have basically S-hooks and carabiners, and then zip ties to mount it. I am probably a horrible person for saying this, but we are not going to put a roof on it, at least not right now. In this neighborhood, we have not had any predator threats, any problems that we can see. So right now, it's going to be a 5-foot high so about the height of the coop. We're going to trim the girls' wings again, move that storage bin out of there, make them a better dust bath to kind of say sorry. And I'm sure they're going to be pissed at me for a while because they've had free range of this whole, I mean, it's not a huge property, but it's a decent sized yard for 3 birds. And now they're going to be confined basically to that back zone, if you will. So back that way and then all the way over. It is way more space than they need, than is the minimum required. But again, we don't plan on ever letting them out. Everything that we're going to do is not going to be permanent. We are not putting concrete into the ground or anything like that. I will find the name of the guide that we found. It was also on YouTube, but it's basically a post that has a T is the base of it, and then there's a hole that you drill in it to where you can hammer down 12-inch long nails into the ground. But that's the only thing that's holding it together. So while that sounds like extremely not stable, it does mean that we could bend it and move it around as we see fit. So nothing that's super permanent. I mean, like I said, we can move our coop also the way we've put our coop into the ground. It does have predator proofing around the edges so nobody can dig through, but I mean, it would basically just be kind of a pain in the ass to uproot that. It's not permanent. Look at these brats. So, but I mean, like this, you can see, I mean, we also need to mow just to get all these leaves out of here, but we want, for our 2 young children, we're just sick of chicken poop being everywhere all the time. I'm sick of my kids' flowers and my garden, my peppermint, my rosemary, I mean, everything just being completely destroyed. I'm just kind of done. So this has been a hard decision, and I appreciate everybody who came onto my video about this dilemma on what to do. You know, these are the only outdoor pets that I've ever had. You know, I've always had dogs and cats and animals that live inside, but these are my only outdoor ones, and they've been spoiled because they're used to this full yard. So I'm kind of afraid that they're gonna mutiny. But this is just what we need to do for our family. We're really sick of having poop all over the porch. It was cute for a while, the chickens wanting to be in the sandbox with my kids, but as they get older and they start having more friends that want to come over and play, I mean, it's kind of like, oh, sorry, you guys have to wear crap shoes because you might be stepping in chicken poop every 5 seconds. So I think this is going to be the happy balance for us. I can do more landscaping. I think it's going to work well for everybody. So this is what we've decided to do after measuring everything out. I'm hoping that all of these building supplies that it will take for this coop, we're going to do it this weekend when we've got some people to help. That it'll be about $100. And again, it's only going to be semi-permanent, so we can always take the posts and, you know, reshape if we want to bend it this way and then have it come more out over here, or whatever we want to do. Again, you might want to do that depending on, the main reason we would want to do it is if the chickens just completely tear up that part of the yard and we say, okay, we need to let that zone, you know, rest for a little while, so let's give them this spot over here. But again, they'll be in the back. I will not have this part of the coop nor this part of the coop, those 2 corners, basically the 2 sides that have the windows. They will be outside of the run, so I can access those at least without having to go in. And then since they're going to have the tree, we're planning on putting the gate, probably attaching right there, and then me just opening the gate. I mean, I say gate, it's just going to be that same chicken wire supply. And then I can walk in this way so that I can let them in and out and check their food and water. This bin, like I said, we're going to have to move. We'll have to make sure that their wings are clipped. So that's what's going on, but I just had to show you, like, I mean, how absolutely ridiculous this is. I mean, it's like, it's just awful that I've had to do all of this, you brats, just to protect my, you know, super cheap seeds and plants and things like that. But I think this is going to be the balance that's going to work. And I appreciate so much, like I've had at least, oh my gosh, that video has not been up that long and I've had so many comments on it. So thank you, everybody. I think honestly, and I think I told some of you this, but I think I just needed someone else who's not directly involved, you know, somebody who's not related to me or whatever, to say, yeah, it's okay. Like you have my permission. I give you permission to lock them up because we all need to be happy. And I am finding now that I have a property you know, that we know we're going to be in for a really long time. We have no need to move. We're not in a hurry to move. We can pay this place off and stay here for a while. You know, I want to do landscaping. I want to have a garden. I want to build a permanent garden instead of this hodgepodge of pots that's up on a bench and, like, please God, keep my birds off of it. So I think this is going to be where we can still have chickens, because we love our girls, but where they are kind of in their place where they belong, and we can do what we want and what we need to do without feeling like they're the boss, because they think they are. These brats. By the way, this topsoil that's here, I was going to tell you. One thing I have not thought to put on my other videos, and I apologize for that. If you've seen this is the Innovation Pet Chicken Coop. I didn't get compensated. Nobody gave me anything. So you can see all of my honest videos and articles about all of this. But because our ground here, we're in South Texas, between San Antonio and New Braunfels, our ground is really uneven. So to level out the coop, this is my big girl here. Shh. We had to put it on bricks, and then we used a level. Well, the problem with that is, whoop, you end up with this gap under here. Yes, look at this brat. Brats. So when it has rained, because they dig in there when they're mad in the morning and stuff, basically this zone in here was lower than the ground around it. So I've got topsoil, just not good quality potting soil or anything, just crappy dirt. It's very uneven in there, so please don't judge. Don't judge the quality. But I've put up, God, 3 40-pound bags so far, and I'm going to do 3 more, because what I want is for the ground in here to be higher, if not at least even, than higher than outside. That way, if it's pouring down rain, we've had some crazy, hurricane season. We're not too far from the Gulf Coast. So with all of the crazy hurricanes that we had, I mean, we had a ridiculous amount of rain. And I want, if my girls stay, look at this brat. If my girls have to stay locked up, I don't want them to be wet when they're just in their little zone. That kind of sucks. Like, there's nowhere we can go where we can be dry. So I'm going to be ending up putting 240 pounds of dirt in there. I've done 120. I'm going to do another 120. And again, it's just crappy dirt. Also, shout out to the San Antonio Backyard Chicken Facebook group, because they're amazing and they're all way smarter than I am. Chickens can be very sensitive to respiratory stuff, like molded food or any kind of mold, or if they get colds or anything like that, it can be very dangerous for them. They're real sensitive to it, even full-grown birds, not just babies, but full-grown birds. And this dirt, the reason it's clumped up in there is because it was wet. And opening up some of these topsoil bags, there was mold growing in the bags. And so I thought, crap, like, I don't want to completely waste this dirt. I mean, I could dump it somewhere else, but I wanted to use it in there. But hopefully chickens, especially chickens who free range all day, hopefully they're kind of a little bit smarter when it comes to like, oh, I shouldn't eat that. That looks like that might be dangerous. And so the mold will, of course, die off. It'll get burned off by the sunlight now that it's out and it's drying. But hopefully just a little bit of mold on the ground is not going to be a problem. So that was good to know. And that was something I didn't know. So again, hello to everybody. This got I kind of went on tangents, but I'm just thinking out loud, and we're going to do the great chicken yard build on Saturday. So I will have another video for you next week and show you what we actually did. I will keep my receipt so I can show you, and I will do an article on realsimplemama.com about building a chicken run, so you can see how did we attach it to the coop. You don't want a gap, because you don't want it, it's like Rorschach, right? Like, you don't want anything getting in, you don't want them getting out. And how we affixed it to the ground, what the cost was, why we decided to go with the plot that we did. This is what a dust bathing bird looks like when they're dust bathing. Look at them, brats. You have no idea what's coming. Oh, they're gonna be so pissed at me. Sorry, girls. So anyway, this is Sarah, the Real Simple Mama. That is the verdict on Lock 'em Up, and I will come back once we have it done to show you what happened. Thank you again for all of your feedback. Bye. For following, sharing, all of that shameless plug stuff. We will be back soon. Thanks, guys.